Ever wondered how many facts you know are actually false? It's a question that might have you scratching your head. In this world of information overload, it's easy to accept things at face value, especially when they are repeated often enough. But here's the thing. Repetition doesn't make something true. It's like that game of telephone we played as kids. The message starts out clear, but as it travels down the line, gets distorted, twisted, and sometimes ends up as something entirely different. So, how do these misconceptions spread and become widely accepted as facts? Well, it's a mix of things. Sometimes it's due to a simple misunderstanding or misinterpretation. Other times, these false facts are deliberately propagated either for entertainment or for more sinister motives. And believe it or not, even science isn't immune to this. In the quest for knowledge, scientists often make educated guesses or hypotheses that can be mistaken for hard facts. But worry not, my curious comrades. Today, we are going to dive into the world of misconceptions and debunk some popular false facts that have been ingrained in our minds. We will peel back the layers of these so-called truths, scrutinize them under the microscope of reality, and reveal what's true and what's not. We'll explore some commonly held beliefs about our brains, bats, goldfish, and even our own bodies. Did you know that the idea that we only use 10% of our brains is a myth, or that bats aren't really blind? And what about the notion that goldfish have a 3-second memory span, or that shaving makes hair grow back thicker? You might be surprised to find out the truth behind these widespread beliefs, so buckle up. We're about to take a journey into the realm of the misunderstood, the misrepresented, and the outright false. Prepare to have your mind blown as we unravel the truth behind these misconceptions. Have you ever heard that we only use 10% of our brain? Well, that's a myth. This notion has been floating around for decades, but it's far from the truth. In reality, neuroscientists have confirmed that we use virtually every part of our brain. Yes, you heard that right. Each and every part of our brain has a specific function, and most of the brain is active almost all the time. The 10% myth may have originated from a misunderstanding of neurological research or from a metaphorical usage by motivational speakers. But rest assured, your brain is working overtime, day in and day out, even when you're resting or sleeping. So it's time to put this myth to bed once and for all. The human brain is a marvel of nature, complex, efficient, and in use far more than just a mere 10%. So, the next time someone tells you that we only use 10% of our brain, you can confidently debunk this myth. How about the saying blind as a bat? Another misconception. Now let's get one thing straight. Bats are not blind. While it's true that many bat species use echolocation as a navigation system, all bat species actually have eyes and are capable of sight. Echolocation is a sophisticated biological sonar system that bats use to navigate through the darkness and hunt for food. They emit sounds that bounce off objects in their environment, and by listening to the echoes, they can determine the location, distance, and even the size of the objects. But this doesn't mean they can't see. In fact, many bats can see quite well and use their vision along with echolocation to navigate. Some bats even have excellent night vision, better than most other animals. So the next time you hear someone say blind as a bat, remember it's a myth. Bats have their unique ways of seeing the world. So, no, bats are not blind. Ever been told that goldfish only have a 3-second memory? Guess what? That's not true either. It's a popular myth that's been circling around for years. But recent studies have shown that it's not only false, but greatly underestimates the mental capabilities of these little creatures. In fact, scientific evidence suggests that goldfish have a memory span of at least 3 months. That's right, 3 whole months. They can recognize different humans, remember the layout of their tank, and even learn to push a lever to get food. Researchers have even conducted experiments showing that goldfish can be trained to respond to light signals and perform various tasks. It's not just about swimming aimlessly around the tank. Their world is much more complex and interesting than we give them credit for. So it's time we stop underestimating the intelligence of these small creatures. They might be tiny, but their minds are certainly not limited to 3 seconds of memory. Ever feared that shaving will make your hair grow back thicker? Well, you can put that fear aside. Now let's delve into why this misconception is so prevalent. You see, when you shave, you're cutting off the tapered, thinner end of the hair, leaving behind the thicker part near the base. This newly cut hair now has a blunt tip, which might feel coarser or stubbier when you touch it with your fingers. As the hair continues to grow post-shave, this coarse sensation persists, leading many to believe that their hair is, in fact, growing back thicker. However, it's important to understand that shaving doesn't alter the color, thickness, or growth rate of your hair. It's all a tactile illusion. The thickness of your hair is determined by factors like genetics and health, not by how often you shave. So, shave without fear, your hair is not getting any thicker. Lastly, you've probably been taught since kindergarten that humans have 5 senses. Well, it's more complex than that. Most of us grew up learning about the big 5: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. These are undoubtedly critical for our interaction with the world around us, but they're just the tip of the sensory iceberg. Let's dive a little deeper. Ever wondered how you can tell up from down even when your eyes are closed? Or how you can sense the heat of a fireplace from across the room without touching it? That's because there are other senses at work, ones that often go unnoticed because they are so seamlessly integrated into our daily lives. Take balance, for instance. It's not something you see, hear, taste, smell, or touch, but it's absolutely essential. It's what keeps you upright when you walk, run, or stand on one leg. This sense, also known as equilibrioception, is regulated by the vestibular system in the inner ear. Then there's thermoception, our ability to sense temperature. It's this sense that alerts you to remove your hand from a hot stove or to put on a jacket when it's cold. It's not touch, although it's closely related. And let's not forget nociception, our sense of pain. Pain is more than just an intense version of touch. It's a distinct sense that warns us of potential damage to our bodies. There are even more senses, like proprioception, which is our awareness of the position and movement of our bodies without using our eyes, or interoception, which involves sensations from inside our bodies like hunger and thirst. So, while the 5 senses model is a useful teaching tool, it's a simplification. In reality, we have a whole suite of senses that work together to help us navigate and understand the world around us. So, we have more than just 5 senses. Isn't the human body amazing? That was a whirlwind of debunking, wasn't it? Let's take a moment to recap what we've uncovered today. We've ventured into the realm of the brain, unearthing the fact that we indeed use more than just 10% of it. Our brains are a flurry of activity, with every part playing a crucial role in our day-to-day lives. So let's give our mighty minds the credit they deserve. Next, we soared into the world of bats and shattered the notion that these fascinating creatures are blind. In fact, bats have a keen sense of vision, not to mention their extraordinary echolocation abilities that allow them to navigate in the dark. Then we dived into the aquatic realm with goldfish. Contrary to popular belief, these little swimmers have a memory span that extends to at least 3 months, not a mere 3 seconds. That's right, your goldfish remembers you and that little castle you placed in its tank. We also took a close shave at the myth that shaving makes hair grow back thicker. Science has shown that shaving does not alter the thickness, color, or rate of hair growth. So, feel free to shave or not shave as you please without worrying about turning into a woolly mammoth overnight. And finally, we explored the human sensory system, which extends far beyond the traditional 5 senses. Besides sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing, there are many other senses we experience, such as balance, temperature, pain, and proprioception, which is our body's understanding of its own position in space. So, there you have it. We've debunked some common misconceptions, shedding light on the truth, and hopefully inspiring you to question and investigate the so-called facts you come across. Remember, it's always good to question what you know, because sometimes the facts might just be myths.